Hey everyone, and welcome to week 26. I guess that means that's our halfway mark, which is kind of crazy. It's also the first week of the month, and the theme this month I'm calling Summer Playground, Summer Fun, fruit-forward drinks that are just meant for the sun. To start it off is a very classic but simple 2-ingredient drink called the Garibaldi. The Garibaldi is just Campari. The Garibaldi is just Campari, which I probably should have taken out beforehand, and orange juice. But there's one trick that makes this drink more than just spiked orange juice, and that trick is the whole lesson this week. A bit of quick history, the Garibaldi is named after Giuseppe Garibaldi, the Italian general who unified Italy back in the 1860-something. And Campari comes from the north of Italy, the oranges come from Sicily, the south of Italy, so the two together is a metaphor, if you will, of this unification. The drink was not known by the masses at all. Maybe your Italian grandfather would order it and just call it a Campari Orange until the year of 2015, when an award-winning cocktail bar called Dante put this drink on their menu with one twist, which I'll get to in a moment. And in 2019, this bar actually won an award for best bar in the world. And it's this 2-ingredient drink that was mostly associated with the bar, and that just helped the popularity of this drink. So, the bar director of Dante, Naren Young, was obsessed with one component of this drink, and that was the aeration of the orange juice. Allegedly using proprietary measures, Naren figured a way to fluff this orange juice in a way that made this drink very special. But first, let's talk about what's in the drink. And this list is not long, and that's why it's even more important to get the balance right. First of all, we have Campari. Campari is very bitter, and I think it's a love it or hate it on first sip for most people. And the truth is, I was not a lover of this drink on first sip, but I quickly began to appreciate the balance that this ingredient brings in cocktails, and that is the most important part of having Campari present, is making sure that it's counterbalanced, as it's a very bitter forward drink, with things like fruit and sweet. And we've seen this before in the Negroni, and the Jungle Bird especially does that very well. I really appreciated the Jungle Bird because it was almost a tiki coconut forward drink, and then you just felt that bitterness on the back end. This week we're pairing the Campari with the OJ. Now, the orange juice will round out some of that bitter, herby type of feeling, but the aeration of the orange juice also helps to tamp the bitterness of the Campari. You do want oranges on the sweet side because, again, we have to figure out that balance where it's not too bitter, but just bitter enough. Okay, glassware is a highball or a Collins. Frosted, ideally, I'm using a Collins here because it's a little bit larger than a highball, and I'm just nervous about the froth, and I don't want it to overflow. We're gonna fill our glass with ice to keep it cool. Often it's a no-no to put your ice in first, but I think with highballs, it's perfectly allowed. But hey, we do what we want over here in 52 Cocktails. I don't want to put too much ice. Oh my God. All right, we're gonna start with 1.5 ounces of Campari. Some folks call for 2 ounces, and I think it comes down to how bitter you want it. This drink is a nice, refreshing day drink, let's call it. And if you're a fan of that bitter edge, you can lean towards 2 ounces. If you're just getting started like me, maybe start with 1.5 ounces and take it from there. So we're gonna put that right in the glass. And for the orange juice, you want more or less a 1-to-2 ratio. So we could start with 3 ounces. You want 3 to 4 ounces of orange juice. First, let's juice it, and then we'll get into the aeration process. All right, the juice of 2 oranges does seem enough here. So let's see. First, I'm actually gonna strain it out in case there was any pulp in the mix, which there was actually. Now we have a few options here. Option 1, you could do like Naren Young, put it in a high-speed blender with nothing else in it, and just whip it up into a froth. And you do have the blender to clean, but that does seem pretty doable actually in a home environment, assuming you have a blender. Option 2 is to leave it in the shaker and just do a dry shake, which I've seen done on the YouTubes, and that seems like it would aerate just fine. Option 3 is what we're gonna do today, which is use a handheld frother, which is the like that you would find for frothing coffee, which makes me think that you could also just use a Nespresso type of frother that you may have lying around. I guess anything that can froth milk would also froth orange juice. Anyways, I bought this, so I'm excited to use it. I guess you just stick it in. Oh, hello. I'm assuming you just keep it in one place and I don't know why this is so fun. This seems like I'm enjoying this more than I should, but okay, wait, let's stop it for a second. All right. Go for more froth. And we got some bubbles there. I was moving it around a bit, and I would say that was probably around 30 seconds. And judging by the looks of it, I think we could include a bit more ice. All right, so I don't mean to be scientific here, but I'm just curious. I'm gonna pour into my jigger just to see how much is going in, but I think I'm gonna end up pouring everything in anyways because we want all of those bubbles. Yeah, this was a bit more than 3 ounces, which I think is fine. And you just wanna slowly pour it in. Honestly, in this case, because I have a Collins, you could probably put even more. And you will garnish with a rather large piece of orange peel to fit into the glass, but this is a pretty ugly orange peel that I got. But the first thing you're noticing is this sunrise layering, which does look so lovely. You could opt to give it a mix. Ideally, it should mix as you drink. You're supposed to have both layers together. That's the drink, but it is a lovely presentation. So I would actually just leave it and then maybe take a few sips and have it mix as you go. All right, let's have a sip. Here's to week 26, to summer. Okay, so that tasted like sweet orange juice. So I am gonna give this a mix. I mean, delicious. So we'll give it a gentle lift here. I'm just getting like some slight Campari there on the back end. Let's give this another sip. Wow. Yeah. That would be great poolside. That is a really nice vacation type of drink to hand somebody. Very refreshing, a bit tart, of course, coming from the Campari. It's very easygoing, and it's, I think, a good foundation to experiment. If you're a fan of a Campari, again, you can raise that ratio. And if you're a fan more of the sweet, you can also opt to just top it up with orange juice, and then you're really out-ratioing the bitter. You can also replace the Campari with Aperol, which is a lower ABV, which may be an easier drink if you find the Campari too bitter. Aperol is like similar to Campari, but slightly less bitter and has some added sweetness to it. So you could even add sweet if this was too bitter for you. I don't think you should, but of course, this is your own experimentation. If you want to add a little bit of simple syrup or a little bit of agave, that would maybe make it more palatable for those that don't like the bitter. But it is an absolutely refreshing bitter drink. And again, a bit of a dangerous one. This one I could see enjoying in the morning hours also. And it's a nice one to just have in the bag. You have guests that come over. As long as you have a bottle of Campari at the bar, you can froth up some orange juice and you immediately have a really nice refreshing drink to give that actually tastes very mature and made up. It tastes a lot more than 2 ingredients.
Whoosh.
A quick heads up, in 2 weeks, we're making a drink called the Stoli Doli, which is all about the prep. There's actually not that much going on in the build. The build happens now. Ideally, you're infusing pineapple and vodka for 2 weeks. It's also possible for 1 week. 1 week's? Wait, no, there's enough Campari in there maybe. I personally am infusing for 1 week, so don't panic if you can't start immediately, but just a heads up. If you can get a pineapple, cut it up into chunks, put it in 750 ml, basically a bottle of vodka in a jar, close it up, put it in your fridge. That's it. In 2 weeks, we're gonna do the Stoli Doli. We're gonna take that out of the fridge and we're gonna do stuff. Okay, I don't want to give too much away. that's mostly what it is. So a heads up on that. Next week we're gonna have some fun margarita refreshingness. But until then, this is a good place to be. Happy week 26. And until next week, happy mixing.